iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them 4 abreast, often imitated, never duplicated, the greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
The F1 Championship has of course stolen much of the limelight, but with that now wrapped up, the F2 drivers look to give the viewers one of the most thrilling fights they've ever seen. 2 rounds remain and the top 3 drivers are separated by a mere 8 points. Mid-Ohio could jumble up the order with its technical and twisty layout. We'll see if it does as we get ready to watch round 11 of the Lotus 49 Grand Prix Legend Series, and you'll see it all live here on the Global Sim Racing Channel and the iRacing Esports Network. Hi, I'm Joe Peak, and with me in the booth is our resident Lotus 49 expert, Mick Claridge. Behind the scenes is our director, Sean Crackers Ambrose, and he's using cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Mick, welcome to my home track. I've had the pleasure of getting to see racing here in person, and I'll be honest, it's a fantastic experience.
I was going to ask you, Joe, how far away do you actually live from this place?
Well, back when I was in Ohio, it was about a 3.5-hour drive, so it was a fair ways away, but close enough.
Yeah. And this is a real great layout. I mean, I the first time I ever knew about this place was IndyCar Racing 2 by Papyrus, the old Sims there back in the 60s, whenever they were out, you know. And yeah, this is just such a great place. It's a real twisty. It's like a track of 2 halves, I think. Anyway, you know, with that long back straight, and then you've got the little twisty infield section. It's going to be really, really tough getting these cars around. There's hardly any any grip here ever, and it's just a real battle trying to get these cars around here.
With that, we've got a lap guide at the race, so why don't we take a look at what it's like on board.
All right, we've got Ben Zocco in the GSRC Lotus 49, so let's do a lap around Mid-Ohio. Down into turn 1, you're going to experience more braking than you would in most cars. As long as you weren't too violent on the binders, the entry into here isn't too hard. It's finding the power on the exit that really makes the difference. You can find yourself understeering off, or even spinning the car into the barrier on the left if you clip the grass wrong. The run up the hill to the keyhole offers a great chance to pass into this slow hairpin, but even if you don't get it done, if you can stay close to the car ahead, you'll get a second chance very quickly. That's because the exit of this corner takes you onto the longest straight of the track, the backstretch. As you can imagine, that makes your corner exit here the most important one of the lap. Straighten out the kink and then spot your brake marker for China Beach. Now, the way these sets of corners weave back and forth, if your opponent defends to the inside, you've still got an opportunity to get by. Try to stay side by side, and you can have the inside for the entry to madness. For a number of corners now, you're only going to get tiny squirts on the gas, and you'll mostly be focusing on keeping the racing line. Even up and over the S's, you can hardly press on the right pedal. Plus, the braking into the jump is a little precarious with it being curved. The track's going to drop away right when you want to get on the power, so be wary of wheel spin. As you fly through Thunder Valley, you'll want to line up your braking for 11 very early. Get it as close to the Armco as you dare, and then chuck it into the apex. That takes you directly into the carousel. There's a lot of lines you can take into here, but I've found it's fastest to try to double apex it. Even the final quarter isn't fully flat out in the Lotus, but hopefully you've now finished a lap around Mid-Ohio.
You see a lap around from the driver's perspective. Now, let's take a lap around the points from our perspective as well, now that we've had hindsight here, of course, on the F1 Championship. Rob Olenek cannot be caught in the final 2 rounds. He claims his second championship in this series. Marco Kika could still be overtaken by Sadro and Price, as well as Mikus if things go really dire. So the second to fourth positions are not settled, but really the main battle is probably down there from fourth to fifth there between Price and Mikus. Those two, the closest of our second to fourth fight. Let's take a look at the F2 Championship. I talked a little bit about it, Mick, and it is incredibly tight at the top.
Yeah, it's just the same as last season, ain't it, Joe? I don't know what's going on with these guys, but they really like to have a close battle, don't they, at the end of the season? Yeah, just looking now at Pascal Tremblay now, he's up with 184 points in first place, but David Rossi's only 4 points behind him in second. So, you know, this is all to play for in the last 2 races. Bill Tyler's there, 176. Just have to say, all 3 drivers, in fact, all 5 drivers here in the top 5 are here today, so they're going to be fighting it out. Colin Bentley and Andreas Bruno, they're down in 4th and 5th. They might be out of the battle now, but they're quite safe. Just a quick little bit to say, I think there's about 43 drivers in the F2 Championship. So to be in the top 5 is a real achievement. So well done, guys.
Yeah, consistency and a great performance definitely seems to have gotten them where they are. Now, we also have the Nations Cup. That's how they do the Constructors' Championship here, back like they did in 67. U.S. Doesn't have it wrapped up, so this is not over, but you can see they are well clear over the U.K. And then Finland back there kind of on its own in third. Germany and then Slovakia and Canada are actually tied there for 5th position. So we got a little bit of a fight going on for 4th place. It's going to take quite a few points, of course, for Slovakia and Canada to start gaining ground on them. In case we have viewers who haven't watched the Lotus 49 Grand Prix Legends, well, they're in for a treat, Mick, but give them the details at least.
Yep, this is round 11 of 12, like we've been saying, real end of the season stuff now. This race is 25 laps long. They're going to burn for around 6.5 gallons. Open setups today. There's a lot of diversity in the setups. I think this week, Joe, you can set your car up oversteer, you can set it up understeer. You'll still be in low 20s. A lot of drivers are in the 20s now, looking at the lap times. Incident limit 17. You hit 17 limit incidents and you'll get disqualified because this is run on the official iRacing servers.
And it's also run on the official iRacing esports channel. That's right, we're on IESN. We're watching it right now. So make sure and subscribe to the network. All you got to do is click on the big red button that says subscribe, and you won't miss a moment here on IESN. Also, don't forget to check out our new merchandise store that we've recently opened here for GSRC. We've got a couple cool items in there, one of which is our polo shirt that we sell. Now, We figure most people are going to be probably wearing this around the office, especially if you're a racer. Maybe you'll be in the team's office, and well, you might need some ink. So we've actually included detachable ink cartridges that are on the shirt, so you can just rip one off if you're out and throw in an emergency ink cartridge and get that data sheet that you need printed out, or your TPS reports all ready to go. You can see we've got the qualifying underway, and thus far, it looks like Uwe Trangrade is our provisional pole sitter. Not exactly what you were predicting, though, Mick. I see he's got Kane Lasky beat.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the weather here, Joe. It's 95 degrees track temperature. That's quite high. Everyone's been running around 89, 90, and it's quite a hell of a difference. There's a good sort of 3/4 of a second difference in lap time. So I'm just wondering if setup's playing a part here in this session. You know,
It could be. Well, Kane, if he is quick enough, maybe he could try and run down Uwe, but not sure if that's going to be the case. Olenek is our provisional front row sitter, I guess you could say. That F2 championship, looking at it real quick, Bill Tyler is the highest of the 3 competitors, but he's right in front of David Rossi. In fact, 1 row back diagonally from him. And then next to David Rossi is Tremblay. They are packed right together, just as Lasky takes the front row away from Olenek. So we have got a nice fight, not only going on in F2, Mick, but up at the front row. This looks like it's going to be a classic.
Oh, it's going to be fun watching Uwe fight all these guys off, ain't it, Joe?
It's going to be awesome to see as we watch Andrew Ang come around. He's got both of his laps in. Trying to see if anybody else can set a time. I think Rodney Evans might be able to get one in. Otherwise, everybody on track has set their 2. Now, this will be Rodney's first, I believe, unless he is on a warm-up lap, in which case he won't get a time down. In fact, he's just going to squeak in. This is coming over the leap, and then, of course, down through Thunder Valley, up and over the crest of Turn 11 and into the carousel. Very difficult in this car. Slow speed corner, trying to feather the throttle all the way around to the line through the final kink. Let's see what he's got underneath him as he comes across the line in time. 23.2, and that is going to put him up to 15. So a nice little jump for him over the drivers who have not qualified yet. Let's go through that qualifying order, though, because we got a decent-sized field. Mention it, Uwe Trangrade on the pole by about a 1/10 over Kane Lasky today. That front row is stacked. Rob Olenek, our champion, only good enough for 3rd, but he doesn't really need a much better finish today. Peter Mikus will be starting 4th behind him, with Marco Kika on the inside of row 3 in the 5th position. The first of our F2 rivals, Bill Tyler, will be starting P6. David Rossi right after him in 7th position, and Pascal Tremblay in 8th. That is reverse championship order, by the way, so that makes it even spicier. Chris Murakami will be starting in 9th, and the top 10 rounded out by Ryan Shelton.
Andres Bruno down in 11th, another F2 driver there. Nikos Morelli, I'm not sure if I know that name, he's in 12th. Colin Coker, the Aussie, in 13th. Andrew Egg, the regular, in 14th there. Rodney Evans, we just watched him finish his final lap there in 15th. Matt Yeomans in 16th. Trent Boos in 17th. Gary Anderson 18th. David Cohn, the last guy to put a lap in, the 19th there.
Last few to at least enter the race but not get in qualifying: Colin Bentley, Julio Colin, Robert Reynolds, and Casey McMullen Sr. The rest of your field all lining up. Another little tidbit about the track here, Mick, as they grid up, is they don't actually usually start here at this finish line, is what it usually is. The starting line is on the back stretch, but right now, as the lights are up and the green flag is out, it is over here by the pits, and off the line, it is Uwe Trangrade with a decent start over Lasky, who's under threat from Rob Olenek into turn 1. As they come around there, Olenek gets a good shot off the corner. He might have second place, Mick, but it's going to be a drag race up to the keyhole.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say there's one guy that we haven't really mentioned. I mean, it's only right at the start of the race, but watch out for Peter Mikus. Notice I said Mikus, not Nikus, for all the people that know me out there. Yeah, he's already on the inside of Rob now, down the back straight. This is looking, well, he's backed out of it a bit there, maybe letting the tyres warm up, just having a little settling.
Impressive that Lasky was able to get that spot back. They come down to China Beach for the first time. We got somebody off. That's Colin Coker, way overshooting the corner, and somebody else spinning. Looks like Morelli is our other one with issues. Everybody else through fine. So, the jump now.
Yeah, a couple of guys in the pits from that one.
Up and over the jump and now through Thunder Valley. Train Grade starting to pull away from Kane Lasky. In fact, he's pulling himself a nice gap of nearly a second at this point.
Just looking at that weather again, Joe, it's gone up another degree. This might be hurting Kane because he's probably using lower tyre pressures and over up the front there. Watching the race last night, Kane and Uber, they were pretty much on the same pace. So I think Kane will be able to reel him in, or at least stay with him anyway. Rob really close to the back of there, wasn't he?
Yeah, I was just about to say, first he's got to deal with Rob Olenek, who nearly ran over him. We hop on board with Robbo now, and Peter Mikus is still behind him. Oh, we've had a big accident behind them. Once we settle out to see if this is a pass, looks like Chris Murakami involved. Pascal Tremblay, one of our F2 drivers, and Matt Yeomans. Looks like no pass down to the China Beach among our leaders. Let's figure out what happened here. I just saw a whole bunch of cars in the keyhole.
Yeah, it all happened in the keyhole, didn't it? Everyone just piling in there. They just couldn't stop.
Started with, looks like Murakami. Wow, he went for a tumble. Tyler in there, Tremblay. Wow. Well, that exploded really quickly.
Tremblay has got no front nose on the car now, and he's stayed out on the track. He's not pitted for repairs, so he's thinking F2 battle here.
He actually has a second hit after this initial contact. Yep, there you see it right there. Wow. And that changes everything, to put it mildly, because David Rossi is up to 5th, and he is looking to take a massive chunk of points with only one round remaining after today's race. So this is horrible, horrible news for both Tremblay and Tyler. Tyler is in pit lane. Tremblay is still continuing on. So we jump back here to the battle on screen. Big slide down through madness. This is between Shelton and Marco Kika for 5th or 6th place rather.
Nice tight line there for Marco Kika. Yeah, he's all in the mirrors now, ain't he? I'll tell you, Joe, this is so tough for the guys with this weather. 95, 96 degrees doesn't sound that much, but you've already seen, what can happen. It may have been weather induced. We're just watching the guy behind Marco now. Ryan Shelton really lost the back end there going around, and then a bag of understeer to top it off.
They lost a lot of time for the latter half of the lap. You can see right now the fastest car is Kane Lasky, who's responded to Olenek's pressure, set the fastest lap of the race, and has got Ove Trengray down to 0.6 of a second. You called it. The battle is on now between Lasky and Trengray.
Yeah, nice low tyre temperatures pressures for Kane, I reckon. And now they're just starting to come in. And Uber's going to have this for the rest of the race. This is just going to be a hell of a battle now from this point on all the way to the end. I tell you, it's just going to be non-stop.
They started to drop Peter Mikus behind them, so it is down to the top 3 now instead of the top 4. On board with Robbo. He continues to give chase, waiting to see if there's going to be an opportunity among them. And Thunder Valley once more. Seems like, even though there's those technical bits that they have to go through the latter half of the lap here, the front half of the course, to me, always seemed to offer some passing opportunity, especially in this car. I mean, what do you think, Nick? What's your opinion on the...
Yeah, I agree totally. Yeah, I agree totally, Joe. It's exactly as you say, but in this car, you can really make a huge mistake and it really cost you a lot of time. You know, you see guys going around the outside of the turns where they've messed up and stuff. And, you know, so that's always an opportunity for someone behind to get in there, you know. The one thing that helps you in this car is the braking zones are so long in this car. You know, you really have to back the braking markers up in this car. So, yeah, so it's really, really tough. And it's, you know, the overtaking's so opportunistic now. Going back to P10.
Yep. Battle between Evans and Cohen. Cohen with a great run, running up to the keyhole, but he's a little bit too far back. Can he manage to square it off and get himself a run down to China Beach? He's going to try for it. Both of them looking to get on the throttle. It's a great run by the number 18. In fact, he's starting to gain already, looking down to the inside, and that's a big lift there from Rodney Evans. He's not willing to fight it. Bring Cohen up into the top 10.
Yeah, I've been watching Rodney all week and been chatting to him during practice sessions. He's really struggling this week. He'll tell you that himself. He's really found it hard to get around this track. So backing out of that battle then.
And in fact, he's given up another spot to Tremblay and also Andrew Eng. So he's letting a lot of people by. Oh, as for a second there, I thought that Olenek might have gotten past Lasky, but it's not quite there. He is certainly all over the gearbox now. In fact, a defensive move from Kane Lasky, clearly feeling under threat off the 180-degree bend and back around. What have they got? They fall off of Tranqueray a little bit, start to pick up speed. Olenek sticks with him. Not sure that he's in the position to try and make an overtake, but still another defensive move down to the inside from the number 4.
Yeah, expecting that. Oh, Rob looks for the over-under there down into the left-hander. They've both caught up with Hoover there for some reason. They're both defending and attacking, and they've still caught up with Hoover. I'm not sure what happened to Hoover there through that corner. But yeah, over this little crest now, really tough to keep the car underneath you there. Rob right on the back of the cane now. Just how you get out of this corner, just over that little crest, little wiggles from all 3 cars there. Down into the next corner, and then this one's tough. You got to just catch that curb on the left-hand side, get a nice entry. There's about 1 million lines you can take through this corner and still get it right, as long as you hit an apex somewhere around where they are now. Hard on the power now, right? This is right on a gear change. It's horrible there. You can see Rob, you just lost the back end there. That was right on a 2nd to 3rd gear change. And they've looked like they've spaced out a bit, don't they, for this time now?
You know, I almost feel like tracks like this are a lot harder, which might seem a little counterintuitive than places like Spa. There's a big slide from Tranqueray going into the turn, but he catches it. But what I was going to say, Mick, is that these tracks with the shorter gearing, I always struggled so much more just because the car was so twitchy on the very short 1st and 2nd gears.
Yeah, it's really twitchy from 2nd gear to 3rd gear. This is I mean, they're in 2nd gear now, coming around here. They're staying 2nd gear, coming around the left-hander. And even now, just getting on the power now on that downhill is quite tough. Again, especially in this weather. Now up to 3rd gear, this is where it changes, because you're going over these little crests, Joe, and just watch, see if everyone gets over this little crest nicely as they get over. Probably in 3rd gear before they get there. They're all driving really nice and smooth, I have to say. They're really well done to the guys. Tough weather, tough weather. Oh, Kane's lost it a bit there. Ran a little bit wide, but not really an opportunity for Rob.
Yeah, a little bit tough to try and pass there unless you get a sneak attack in, but look at him stick with him. Oh, but a slide this time for Rob. He catches it just off the final turn. That's going to deny him the chance that he may have had if he had just stayed that close all the way up the hill here to the keyhole once again. We've got another car in. McMullen Sr. seems to have had an issue. And I'm not entirely sure what happened to him here. Yeah, this happened a long ways back, I'm seeing, because he just pulled off the track from what I can tell. And he had damage for a long time. So seems he's called it a day.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Joe, that moment where Rob was right on the back of Kane there and lost the back end, I've done that so many times. You see that so many times in this car. It's just, you just get so excited because you're right close, you know, and you just want to put your foot down that little bit more, and then that's it. The rear breaks away. It's that easy, you know.
Let's keep our cameras on this fight, but I just want to keep our viewers updated on the F2 battle. It's a little bit simpler thanks to that incident. Rossi's still in 5th. Tremblay is trying his best to minimize the damage. He's already trailing Rossi in points, but he knows he needs to keep him in touch just so that he can continue to try and fight for it into the last round. Tremblay is in 10th currently and has about 6.5 seconds up to Colin Bentley. As we head down to Andrew Ang in this nice little fight as well for 13th position.
Yeah, he's taking nice lines there, Andrew Ring. Nice lines through there. Sorry, Joe. And yeah, nice and smooth as well. I'm really impressed with the guys today. I was expecting a lot of rear ends flying all over the place, especially from Mr. Trengarade up front, like we know. But yeah, really impressed with the way everyone's driving today. It is tough to drive these cars in this weather,
Oh, speaking of rear ends going around, Olenek didn't lose it completely, but he overshot a China Beach by quite a margin. Let's take a look at the replay. This will be a good onboard. Well, you could tell he was coming in hot because he started closing in on that car quite a bit. Nowhere near the apex. Did a good job at least minimizing the damage, but that cost him some time.
That would take him about 2 or 3 corners to cool the tyres down again. You can see the result, drop back from the guys now. Have to say, fair play to Uber. He's holding them off, ain't he, Joe?
He is. You said we haven't really had a lot of drivers spinning, but attrition's been high today. Bill Tyler's the DNF. Coker and Murakami did get back out on course. For Colin's gone. Busey is gone. Looks like Anderson's made his way back out. And we mentioned McMullen Sr. has recently called it quits today. So a few drivers are still going for that Dory Award as we take a look at Marco Kika in P5. And he's going to manage to get by David Rossi, demoting him 1 more position.
Yeah, David Rossi's going to really want to get as many points as he can today. And now the attrition's taken care of Pascal and Bill.
Pascal still sitting about 4 positions behind him, so he's gaining spots, but he doesn't want to give too many away like that. He's maybe thinking bigger picture here and just collect what he can as we ride on board with Kane Lasky once again, 2nd place driver. Now we've had Rodney Evans come into the pits.
I was going to say, back row Bob is just in front of these guys now. He just gets well out the way. Wouldn't expect anything different from Rob there.
We had a big wreck with Evans on the front stretch just before he came into the pit. So this was maybe about 30 to 40 seconds ago. Let's take a look and catch what happened here. Yeah, you can see the car getting loose there, and unfortunately the pit wall is right there at the edge of the track. Clattered it awful hard. Looks like just maybe too much throttle there.
Yeah, and it just shows you to get around there, you cannot just hammer the gas down. You really have to feed it in. Like I say, poor Rodney, he has been struggling this week. We're going back to the lead.
Yeah, it's still awful close between Trangrade and Lasky. Those two, of course, are staying close to one another, looking to try and settle out a fight that's been going on all week, it sounds like. With Rob now thrown into the mix, they're just about halfway through this race.
Yeah, it's like everyone's been, running their practice laps, and obviously by now we've had a couple of races. Everyone knows everyone's hands and stuff, and the pace has been sort of the same up the front. No one's really got away in any of the races, and this battle's all it's all going to be on a mistake from Uber. I think he's driving really well to hold off Kane here.
These 3 have been separated by no more than a second for pretty much the entire race. Up at the lead, it is Ove Trangrade and the Purple Machine, Kane Lasky behind him. There you see, and the purple and orange, and then Rob Olenek in the tiger striped car. It's become really an icon for him here in that number 1. Great run here. This is the best run we've seen from Kane Lasky. No defense from Ove Trangrade. Sometimes you can hold it around the outside to have the inside for the next corner. Is that what he's trying here? It seems to be the case because it looks like he's got it. Lasky not able to make the overtake, but he's sticking with it. Going to try and send it in now through Madness. Still a defense from Ove Trangrade. He keeps ahead. And what a defense there from the Norwegian.
Yeah, that all came from the just going onto the back straight there. Uwe had a massive, huge slide, and he had a real handful of steering lock to keep it safe. And Kane got the run there. That was where it all started. So yeah, really well done to Uwe there for holding on to that place.
Not only is this what Olenek wants, but Peter Mikus, we watch from his perspective, look how much time he gains just from that one little fight that these three had. He's going to be loving this if they start battling more, because in fact I would solidly say that this is now a 4-car fight for the first position.
Yeah, I was just going to say before the battle came, I was just going to say, because Peter Mikkers actually did the fastest lap out of all 4 of these guys now. So yeah, this battle's on. I know Peter Mikkers likes a really loose car. You know, that may pay off for him in this weather as well. You know, trying to get this car turned and rotated. They all look really equal, though, don't they, Joe? You know, this is such a tough fight. This is for all 4 of these guys now.
And they've got no worries from behind. They can try and have this 4-way battle because Marco Kika is 15 seconds back already. There you see the weather that we keep talking about. Not only is it relatively hot, but it's kind of windy out there, about 13 miles per hour, 12 miles an hour. So I wonder if that's affecting the drivers a little bit, making it unpredictable.
I've never even paid attention to the weather once driving this car. I don't know if it affects it or not. I've got no idea, Joe.
To come around the carousel one more time. Can Olenek finally get by Lasky and maybe himself give a challenge to Ove Trangrade? He's been being a headache, a pain here for the number 4 for quite a while. Down through turn 1, they all spread apart exactly when they want to be closer together. That turn just doesn't seem to give them an opportunity to get close to one another.
Just watching up ahead, Matt Yeomans is ahead already on the back straight now, and that's going to come into play when they get into the twisty section, I think. Maybe right when they don't want to meet this guy, you know, especially for Uwe. Uwe doesn't want to meet him, all the guys behind him do.
Yeah, we haven't talked about the lap traffic a whole lot, but you mentioned it earlier. The laps are kind of short for this car. This track it's only 2.25 miles long. So despite that, it's kind of twisty, so that adds some to the lap time. It could be so much quicker. Already we've caught one of the drivers. We're looking to catch another, and then it's only going to be more after that with still now quite a few laps to go.
Yeah, I was expecting them to catch Matt a bit sooner than this, so I think Uwe's going to get a nice little run, maybe even a toe off of him down the front straight here. He gets out of the way, doesn't he?
Yeah, great heads up. He knows how to play the back marker game in the series. And wasn't battling anybody, so he's not going to try and hold them up. Down and up the straight towards the keyhole. This time a look to the inside from Kane Lasky instead of a defense as he got close to Trangrade. He's within 0.2 of a second. This is the last time he's had a very serious run at him down into China Beach, but he's having connection problems, disappearing a bit here and there. Is that gonna... Yep, and he hesitates. He doesn't go on the attack this time.
Yeah, those throwdown moments will really throw Rob over on that. It's not nice watching a car disappear in front of you, especially when you're on a limit, because you end up starting to look at the car, don't you, Joe? I don't know if you ever do that, but I always look at the car in front, you know. Yeah, so when they start disappearing, it's really annoying. But Kane knows, you know, he can't do anything about it. You know, we accept it, you know.
Yeah, it's so distracting. It's worrisome, if anything. It just kind of puts your nerves on edge, and you're hesitant to try and do anything about it. So they come around to complete yet another lap. But this is the closest fight on track that we've got. Everybody else is spread pretty far apart from one another. And what other place would we want to be than up here in the battle for the lead?
Yeah,
Rossi is is still in 6th. Sorry about that. And Tremblay
No,
still in
sorry. Carry on.
10th. So no change there. Go ahead, Mick.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I can't emphasize how hard it is to get this car around this track in this weather. You know, just especially coming from these second gear corners like now. I'm just watching Rob now, just taking a nice late apex, and just trying to get up to 3rd gear. You know, he'd be really feeding the throttle for all the way now. There's no mashing the gas in this car, no way, not at all in this track. Coming down now the end of the back straight. Rob's really strong on the brakes here. Really nice, like, oh, he's just lost it a little bit there, just going in. Kane's all over the back of Uwe now.
Yeah, that's the second time we've seen Rob do that.
Yeah.
I noticed that train grade, part of what set that up about Lasky being this tight to train grade there, Uwe was spinning the tires coming off of the keyhole once again. I kind of wonder if he needs to watch out for that he might overcook the rears a little much.
Yeah, he will overcook the rears, and the trouble he's got is Kane does not do that ever. He's so smooth and he's just so precise on the power input. You never hardly ever see him lose the back end. You know, the only time I ever saw him lose the back end was yesterday when Uwe was behind him and he was trying to get away. Uwe well wide there around turn 1. Back marker in front now.
Getting a little bit distracted there. That was Gary Anderson, who lets them all through patiently up to the keyhole. A little bit better into this corner for Uwe Trangrade. What about off of it? Is he going to spin the tires once again? No, that looks a little better there from the number 6. So Lasky might not have as good of a go this time. They gain speed, 170 miles an hour, 175 miles an hour before they get on the brakes down here into China Beach. Is it going to be smoother for Rob this time? That looked a lot better for the Tiger car.
Yeah, just a little touch on the curb there. That actually brings the car round and helps you on the corners when you do that. Exactly the same again now for Rob. Just nicely over these curbs. It was a little bit different line now for Kane, a little bit tighter, but they all square up and line up for the right-hander over the crest. Really tough, full power now, even in this corner. It's full power now. You brake right on that square patch on the floor. Aim for that curb on the left. Uwe's gone a little bit hot, but that doesn't matter. He's still going to get a nice little run through the right-hander to finish up the lap. Lap 17 now, so we're just getting up to the end of the race now. People are going to start getting angry.
You always hear about drivers' tracks. Well, I say this is a driver's car. This makes the difference for sure of who has got the skill, who's got the feel. And right now, it is a good feeling for Rob Olenek because he gets a run coming off of turn 1. Lasky going to go defensive again. Covers him off every time he sees that orange and black car get a little bit bigger in the mirrors. And they spread apart down the backstretch critically, so not going to see much down into China Beach this time.
Right, pretty important now though, Joe. We've got 2 back markers and we've just caught them right in the worst place you can catch the back marker. This is going to be really interesting to see how these guys get through here.
Through madness. This is a fight for position. This is for 12th place between Morelli and Cohen. I think they might catch them coming up and over turn 11 here. Yeah, through Thunder Valley, they start to close in. They could try and lift, but again, Cohen in a fight. I don't think he wants to lose too much time here, so no, he does not lift and let them through. Trangrade is going to have to do this the hard way. He's going to get caught up here through the carousel. Oh, Lasky thought about it. That's a big checkup. All 3 of them are going to have to check up. They get evenly hampered through that portion. Oh, but down to the inside. Morelli compromising the line for Olenek, and behind them, that was Cohen going off.
Yeah, a little bit naughty from Mr. Cohen there. Well, I reckon he should have let him through a little bit earlier, but like you say, Joe, he was in a battle there.
Yeah, that one's hard to assess, I think, in that situation, knowing when it's the best time for both of you. And unfortunately, you got to make a judgment call. Still, Lasky is on top of Trangrade, so he didn't get too caught out by all of that. It was only Rob Olenek, I say, who really got it worse than the other 2. Though Peter Mikus has dropped off since we last looked. Really is trying to follow him around, try and take a few notes, see if he can get some speed and continue to leave Cohen behind.
Yeah, I was just watching that checkup. Sorry, Joe. I was just watching that checkup out of the last corner there, the previous lap when they got held up. It just looked like Rob, because Kane checked up in front of Rob. You know, Rob had to check up, and it was like a reverse concertina. You know, and Rob got the worst end of that, I think. But they're still all together. Another back mark in front. Another one.
I think that's your favorite. It's back row Bob up in front of him.
Uwe was well wide. Yeah, sorry, Joe. Uwe was really wide through turn one there.
He's going to have to be clean here soon. We know that Bobby knows how to let them by. In fact, look at that. He's just going to pull right over. And on this long stretch, there is a little bit of the kink, but I think you can go too wide pretty easily through there. Yeah. They all managed to get through. Ooh, Lasky very close. Lasky with a nose to the inside as they come down to China Beach. Oh, but he loses the car. He's trying to keep it from running into him. Rob gets held up slightly, has to go around the outside as they come into madness. Could he maybe make this to an overtake on Kane Lasky? They go wheel to wheel through the corner, giving each other space. Now into the S's, and a big bobble from Kane Lasky gives the chance for Rob Olenek to finally sneak into second.
Unbelievable to not spin, to go across the grass like that, just completely sideways. He was full lock to the left to try and hold the car, and he would have been playing around on the pedals there to get it, to keep it underneath him. Yeah, really, really good driving there from Kane. I know he lost it, but to get that back on the track and up to speed again, yeah, pretty impressive.
Let's take another look at that. Incredible stuff by both drivers. I have to imagine Ove, if he was watching his mirror at all, was sweating, trying to make sure that car did not come into his side. Here's from Lasky's perspective. Now, what set it sideways here? Just outbraked himself, maybe?
Yeah, I think that's what it was, yeah. Yeah, and then you could see Uwe, he knew what was going on. He gave him a real massive load of room there, didn't he, around the outside.
Took a while to settle that out. Eventually, as we come back live, Olenek actually going to lose it back to Lasky because it looks like he's gone to the inside unless Olenek is aggressive here, and he's not. Lasky does take P2 right back, but he gets a big slide coming off the corner. Still not overtaken once again by Olenek, so he's gotten through, but unfortunately with 5 laps left, Mick, he's got some work to do. It's 2 seconds up to Trangarade now.
Yeah, Trangarade's loving this. Kane's really lost the rear end going over the crest there, and Rob's up. Oh, I thought Rob was going to go for a late dive there. Yeah, Kane done it right there when he defended. He just went round the left-hander and just pinched enough of that left-hander to stop Rob going up the inside there. That was really good driving there from Kane. He's really trying to get the foot down there. He's just losing the back end all over the place coming out the last turn there. He even runs wide in turn 1.
Mikus has gained ground because of their squabbling back and forth. So it's become sort of a 3-car fight for second place now, as Ove is probably enjoying the breather that he's getting. The only time he's really had a gap this race since the very beginning, where it got just about up to a second and it closed right back down immediately. You can see heading towards... Oh, Ove Trangarade had a big slide just now coming into China Beach. He caught it. Is this going to cost him time, though? In fact, he gained a little bit of time for a second there. Let's take a look at the replay on this. This is very reminiscent of Rob's slide here, Mick.
Yeah, I was going to say it was exactly the same as what Kane did, but obviously Uwe just had a bit more track to play with there. Exactly the same. It's all in the weather, Joe. It's the guys are on the limit on the brakes, and as soon as you change down, it's probably changed down to second gear there and snagged the rears on the gear change there.
In fact, he's almost gone faster. It's up to 2 points. Oh, did we lose Lasky? Lasky! Both Olenek and Lasky are off track. What happened here? Oh, it's lap traffic. It's going to be lap traffic. It's Colin Coker in front of them. They didn't expect the checkup. Both get into each other. And just like that, in the snap of your finger, Mikus is into second place. Lasky that we're watching getting into him. Oh,
Complete cross wires, wasn't it, Joe? 3 people trying to do 3 different things there, it looked like.
this really demonstrates the importance of sticking with it, because Mikus, who could have given up on things, was there to take advantage. He is now solidly in second place. And Olenek, who's managed to get back on track, is damaged, so he can't try and re-attack. Lasky, I think, is a little bit less damaged, and I think he's going to overtake Rob here soon.
Yeah, I was just watching on board with Rob there. His steering's really cocked over to the left-hand side. He might even put it in the pit lane here. I'm just looking. He's really running wide now. He's staying on track, but he really locked up there. But yeah, Kane's going to have him soon. In fact, I don't think even Rob will even fight this off.
Yeah, there's only 2 to go. I think even though he's got a little bit of a Darth Vader nose going on, he's just going to try and gut it out. Well, this is great news both for Trangerade and Mikus. So we take a look at the Norwegian. In fact, we need to double check on the points to see where he sits and see if this helps him gain on anybody. Looks like, actually, yeah, he could be gaining quite a bit on Pawlowski here, since we don't see Roman today.
Just a little request to our director. Is there any chance we can go on board with Rob? I just want to just show you how he's able to get this car around the track with his steering almost facing 90 degrees to the left. And he's still trying to hold Kane off here. So this is an unbelievable finish for Rob, if he can do it.
And more traffic. Well, he's going to get overtaken right here. Yeah, I think you're right about he doesn't really have an opportunity for Lasky. He is held behind. Finally, he squeaks through. That was Coker once again. That was the driver that they ran into before, that they all 3 came together one more time. Thankfully, not physically coming together. Trangerade with the white flag now. Clear track in front of him. He probably won't catch Rodney Evans before this race is over. So this is essentially a victory lap for the number 6. In fact, I think he is going to overtake Roman Pawlowski. Is another slide into the corner. Maybe it's not just the Finns that like to go sideways. Maybe the Norwegians as well like to try and whip these cars around.
I don't actually think he likes doing it. I just, from what I've ever spoken to him about it, when he's doing it, he's always saying, "Oh, Mick, I was overdriving again. I couldn't help myself." And yeah, I don't actually think he's trying to do it. It's too dangerous to do it in this car, especially on the last lap. You might see him throw a couple in turn 1, but yeah, yeah. Oh, Uwe, he doesn't change, does he?
Well, he's going to celebrate here with a nice little slide around the last corner and across the line victory for Ove Trangerade. Had to work for it. Peter Mikus follows him home in second after all that, and it's a distant third for Kane Lasky. Back in 8th position, Andre Bruno. Haven't really talked about him much. We looked at Bentley briefly. This is a tight little fight to try and settle this one out.
Yeah, and these guys are quite close in the F2 Championship, as we saw. So it's all to play for both of these guys, really.
You got some lap traffic in front of him. That's back row Bob. He sees it. He's going to try and pull out of the way. Maybe he'll let one through. This is going to put Colin Bentley a little bit offline. And that slows him up quite a bit. Bruno should be safe down to the finish. They're among the last drivers here on the lead lap even. Only have about 12 of them. 11, actually.
Uwe just span doing his donuts there. Doing his drifts.
The last of the drivers come across the line. That's going to take us to a quick break here on the Global Sim Racing channel. We'll come back with the unofficial results as well as driver interviews. We'll come back also with the upcoming races here on your screen, so don't go away.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them for a breast, often imitated, never duplicated, the greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Welcome back to Mid-Ohio. We just watched round 11, the penultimate round here in the Grand Prix Legends Series. Ove Trangrade took the win, and you might look at the distances and you think that he just whomped everybody. Well, no way. He was pressured just pretty much the entire race, and it wasn't by Peter Mikus, of all people. He took second only because Kane Lasky, who finished third, and Rob Olenek, who finished fourth, got into lap traffic, and it was just an unfortunate miscommunication. Both of them taken off course and had to limp it home in the final few laps. Marco Kika, he was really the first one that didn't have anything for our leaders and fell way back, but he still gets a top five. And in that F2 fight, David Rossi takes the most points. Who would have thought that? He avoided the big chaos that happened early in the race that took out a bunch of those F2 championship rivals. He wound up sixth. Ryan Shelton in seventh place with Andre Bruno in P8. And it's Colin Bentley finishing in ninth. And only 10 cars. I was wrong. There's only 10 that finished on the lead lap. Tremblay stuck with it, even though he was involved in the wreck, and managed to at least minimize the damage to David Rossi in the F2 fight, taking 10th.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what the F2s looks like after this. Andrew Eng, the regular, down in 11th there. Really, really good finish for David Cohen in 12th there. Well done to him. Nicholas Morelli in 13th there. Matt Yeomans in 14th. These are all the back markers now that got lapped. Back row Bob there in 15th. That is a really good finish for him. That's he missed the crash there at the start. Gary Anderson down in 16th. Colin Coker. Oh, he was controversial today, Colin. Maybe decided the battle there from the front. Rodney Evans down in 18th. Casey McCullen Sr. in 19th. Trent Bruce in 20. These are non-finishers. Guillermo for Colin, 21st. Chris McCarthy in 22nd. And Bill Tyler in the F2 battle. He doesn't finish. He's down in 23rd.
And we've got our third place finisher ready to talk to us. Kane Lasky joins us in the booth. Kane, that looked like a fantastic fight. It's a shame that it wound up how it did. I mean, from your perspective, what went down there with the back marker? Kane, do you have a copy? Looks like Kane may be a little bit distracted right now. I do believe that we've got fourth place behind him, the other driver involved in that incident, Rob Olenek, waiting to talk to us. Oh, do you have... Seeing if we can get Kane. I saw him light up, but I couldn't quite hear his mic. Let's give him one more try. Well, nope. Let's go to Rob instead. We've got Rob Olenek. So another driver's perspective. We asked Kane just before, Rob. It looked like a fun fight, but it's kind of a shame that it ended up with a back marker getting involved. What was your perspective on the incident at the end there?
It's just, I mean, probably a little my fault. It's really hard to pass here. So I knew Kane was going to be held up a little by him. I kind of liked that he was there. He was going to help maybe me make a pass. I definitely didn't anticipate it, what happened in the slow up. I was actually trying to get a run on it and too aggressive.
Well, I wouldn't worry about it too much because Kane did get into the back of him even before you touched Kane as well. But man, what a fight for the podium. Let's talk about the rest of the race because that was a lot more positive. You three just could not get apart from one another. What was it like on the track? Because Mick kept talking about the temperatures. So was that, do you think, the defining factor that kept things tight?
I don't know if it was the temperatures or not. Was it a little warmer than it's been in practice? Maybe. I mean, the car felt fine. I think it felt very similar to it's felt in the practice I've done. I think it's just hard to pass, but I think the draft even helps a little bit too. So you're just gonna, if you can't get by, you're just gonna keep, tight together. I mean, it was kind of one of those, you sort of have to wait for a mistake and hope it's in the right part of the track to take advantage of it and get by. I got by. That was hard getting by there the first time and then made a couple like little mistakes, almost like so excited I actually got by and then went wide and screwed up and he got me right back.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Well, and we saw some of the mistakes that you were having. It seemed like China Beach down into turn 4 was one of the ones that was causing you trouble. You kept coming in there a little bit hot. What was really tripping you up about that?
Oh, nothing at all. Like they're in my way to take my normal line, but if you go wide, you kind of it makes the corner even worse. So I was experimenting most of the race coming in from the outside and seeing if I could get a run going down the straight. So it wasn't even making mistakes. It was experimenting because if I tried to just hold up a little bit and kind of take my normal line through there, I couldn't get a good enough run out of the corner to get up beside coming into turn 5, I think. And so it was like just another one of those. I know in practice I had made a few mistakes going wide there, kind of, well, more than a few. And I noticed that like I could get back on the throttle earlier and carry a little more speed down the straight. The problem is when you come in under braking and go wide, you lose more doing that than you do getting it back. So it would have been that and a combination of maybe a little lift or something from Kane because maybe Ove didn't get right on it and just seeing if I could be coming up faster, hopefully on one of the laps.
Yeah, always a compromise trying to deal with those back and forth corners. Well, commiserations on a 4th today. Hopefully we'll get to see you once again on the finale in a week from now.
Yeah, and congrats to Uwe. Happy to see him up on the top again. That's pretty awesome. And Kane too for a good 3rd, and Peter. So thank you guys. I'll talk to you later.
That was Rob Olenek, who was talking to us. And Mick's going to give another try to see if we can get Kane Lasky's mic working.
Are you there, Kane?
Hey, Mick, how are you?
Yeah, good, man. Yeah, good to see you. Yeah, just talk us through your race there, Kane. We saw you in that huge battle, with Rob one side, over in front, Rob behind, and then you had the moment when you came off and went across the grass there. You had a couple of side-by-sides with Uwe, and then the incident with Colin Coker at the end. Just talk us through.
Yeah, what a great race. First, just want to congratulate Ove. He rode a great race. Like I was trying the whole race and probing, tried a few different strategies, and he didn't make any mistakes, and he really deserved the win. Shame about my mistake because maybe if I didn't make that mistake, I wouldn't have been in the position with the lapper because I lost some time and let Rob get behind me. And the mistake is just this car is so difficult to think at all about a strategy or a plan or what am I going to do, because you have to be driving at every moment. And yeah, I was just thinking for a moment about how am I going to get by, and I locked up the rear brakes and went off. And yeah, the moment at the end, it's hard to say. You'd have to ask Colin, but it's hard to see. So like for me, I play in VR with no virtual mirror, and like I can't see it all behind me, and it's so twisty and tight. It's hard to look in your relative in the corner. So, you know, it could be that he didn't see it all really, or didn't know how close. And also really that's the right place. You need to let people by before you get into the switchback there, because generally people go wide, but the fast guys are going to go inside. And it was just a miscommunication. And I probably rushed it a little bit because I wanted to see if I could catch up to Ove. So I probably had a little bit of a part to play in that. But overall, I was happy to get a podium. Anytime you put the car in reverse and in the middle of a race and you finish on the box, like you got to be lucky.
Yeah, well done, Kane. Yeah, I mean, we called it in the race. It just looked like just an awkward situation between the cars there. Listen, man, thanks for coming in. We're going to see if we can get one more interview going with Backroad Bob.
That was Kane Lasky, third place today. We tried to see if we could get Back Row Bob, but haven't heard back from him, unfortunately. So not sure that he'll be able to talk to us. We'll try and get him in another day because we'd like to talk to Back Row Bob. He's a long-time regular in this series, and I feel like we've got to talk to him before, but it's been a long time.
Yeah, he's been here for years, hasn't he, Joe? You know, he's got to come in. Come on, Back Road Bob. Come
Absolutely.
on.
We love seeing him out there. So we're going to close up. And of course, we want to thank the Lotus 49 community as a whole for bringing us back for another season of coverage, and as well to iRacing for putting us on the iRacing Esports Network. Please make sure and subscribe for all the awesome series that they have on this, not just here with GSRC, but our many friends over at the other broadcasters putting on daily races. Also, thanks to the companies that provide the software and the hardware for our broadcasts. They're listed here on your screen. And additional thanks go to June Lalonde, who provides our wonderful music. See the screen for how to get a hold of more of her great work. Thanks to the team today, Mick, Sean, and Doug. If you'd like to find out more about GSRC, including upcoming races, you can find it at globalsimracingchannel.com. You can also check out our social media. Our Twitter is at GSR Channel, Facebook, Global Sim Racing Channel, and Instagram, GSRC_Graham. If you'd like to support the channel, check out our merchandise store. It's at gsrc.storenv.com. We've also got a link in the description below here on YouTube. The next race, the finale, going to take place at a classic, Road America. That'll be Saturday, November 30th at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. But we have upcoming races for other series listed on the screen, so check those out and mark them down on your calendar. Until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.